Okay, so when we last left the Kansas legislature, the House had passed their version of a funding bill, which many people believe, although gets us closer, is still not going to be adequate for the courts. So where are we today?
Well, we have the House bill, which, as you point out, a lot of people believe is not quite going to make it, but it has a shot, I suppose. It's certainly a move in the right direction. The formula in it is good. It takes care of the equity issues, and it pumps a significant amount of money in. Whether the court will consider the timeline too long, 5 years, for that amount of money, 500 million new plus what was put in last year. So it's a total of about over 6 years, including this current year, about $823 million, but 500 million new for this year. Will that be enough? We don't know. Everybody had talked about 600 million. Is 5 years too long? We don't know. That depends on what the court thinks. So, but it's at least a move in the right direction. It's a good faith effort to address what the court has said, and from what we've seen so far, that's the best option to send to the court. And with briefs due to the court on April 30th, it's time to get something out to send to them. Today, after a lot of just horrible posturing and threats and other such things, the Senate took up their school finance bill. I think everyone's in agreement that their school finance bill will not satisfy the court. It's about 250 million new dollars. Um, it, it takes care of the equity issues, but it adds a lot of little policy pieces that add some money into it, but they don't continue after the first year. They would have to be revisited. It's half the money that's in the House bill. It's also spread out over 5 years. Um, I don't think anybody who follows this believes that the Senate bill will satisfy the court.
It doesn't even align with the Taylor study that they commissioned a few months ago, does it?
Well, I would say no. Although a certain senator from Johnson County, Senator Denning, believes it does. Senator Masterson from Andover said that the Taylor study told us we were perfectly adequate. So it depends, I guess, on what page of the Taylor study you're reading as to whether it does or not. But in my estimation, no,
And probably
it
whether
does
you're
not.
reading every word in a
Yeah,
sentence.
could be. So no, but I think there's general agreement. This is not a good bill. It will not pass muster with the court. Are there things in it that are nice? Yeah, there's money for parents as teachers, some preschool at-risk money. There's the mental health collaboration pilot program. There's some good pieces of policy in this bill, but the money's just not there for an adequate to address adequacy in the formula. So I think that this bill is if this were to be the bill that goes to the court, I think we're guaranteed that the court will reject it. It increases our chances of a special legislative session in the summer, and increases ultimately the chances that the court is maybe going to close schools at the start of the year in August. So, very bad bill. There had been hope that amendments would be offered to this bill to either make it like or similar to the House bill. No amendments were offered to do that. And
Well,
in
I
the
heard about some kind of threats from the Senate president around that. What was that all about?
Well, we have heard that people were told that they needed to support this bill as it is, and people who did not would perhaps lose their chairmanships if they were chairs of committees or their vice chair positions. So that's something that happens occasionally over there. When leadership is not necessarily getting their way, they have the power to remove people from positions, from committee seats that are loved, from chairmanships, from vice chairmanships. So we understand that some words were said to that end over in the Senate. Um, in the end, no amendments were offered to the bill to improve it. It passed essentially as it is. had a couple of minor technical amendments. Um, and that's now the Senate's position. It was very difficult to pass the bill. They had to do a call of the Senate. The Democrats voted against the bill. Many moderate Republicans voted against the bill.
What does a call of the Senate mean for anybody?
A call of the Senate is when there's a senator missing, or some senators have voted pass instead of yay or nay. And when there's a call of the Senate, the doors are locked. You're kept in the chamber until everyone has voted. And that includes finding the missing person or persons and bringing them back. In this case, a senator was missing. He was off at a family event, I believe in Johnson County. He was about an hour away. We were locked in the chamber. I was locked with other lobbyists up in the gallery because you can't get in and out of the gallery either. And we were waiting for this senator to return. But in the meantime, a few senators switched their votes, and the bill passed 21-18. It had to have 21 votes to pass. So the bill did pass.
So we have a Senate bill that's we believe is pretty woefully inadequate according to what the court will likely desire, and we have a House bill that is probably on the razor's edge of maybe passing muster, maybe not. So where do we go from here?
Well, I guess where we go from here is we need to the Senate has a position now of woefully inadequate funding and essentially, in my estimation, not meeting the court ruling. And we will, these bills go to the other chamber. So the House bill was a House bill. The Senate bill was a Senate bill. So now the other chambers will look at them. So it might be that they send their bills off to each other and they go through the full process of hearings and debate and floor action. Alternatively, they could go straight to a conference committee and put both bills into a conference. That has happened quite frequently, where they'll put both the Senate bill and the House bill in conference and negotiate the differences between the two to come up with a conference committee report. The problem with that, as we see it, is that with the Senate having a very low money position, the House having a much healthier money position, when you negotiate, you come somewhere in between, which means the House bill, which obviously you characterize as on the razor's edge of being enough, gets lowered in the conference committee report, conceivably. So that's going to be a problem and be a challenge in placing it before the court. So we have to see what direction they're going to go, how fast they're going to try to conference. Is there some other strategy afoot? There are other things they might try to pressure each other. There's the possibility tomorrow in the Senate of a vote to reconsider what they did. They can do that within 24 hours, so it is always possible someone who voted yes on the bill could offer a motion to reconsider that action, and they can vote on it again and perhaps kill it. That's something we'll have to see if they want to go in that direction. So there's a number of things that could happen, but it's looking very much, the House doesn't come in till 1:30 tomorrow, at which time they will receive notice that the Senate has passed their bill. So that doesn't leave much time tomorrow. So we're likely to be going through the weekend over there at the Capitol.
And so, what can people do at this point? It sounds like the best option is to probably contact senators and point out the inadequacy of the bill and encourage
Right.
them to take another action.
I think that's number one, is to let the senators know how disappointed they are that this bill passed, that teachers and school employees and parents do not believe that this is going to solve the problem we face, that we expect the legislature to act in a responsible manner to adequately and equitably fund our schools and to ensure that our schools open on time in early August.
Okay, so we will include a link in Under the Dome tonight, probably if you're watching this just below this video, for people to contact their senator and send that message. Anything else we need to think about through the weekend? It sounds like, obviously, I as communications and you as government relations will work closely together to monitor things and get the word out.
But we know this is going to make our members anxious, and they're going to be wanting to do something. And the best thing you can do if you're part of our representative assembly is to pay attention. We'll be sending updates to the representative assembly. I will send those both to our communications department, Marcus, and to our executive director, and they'll keep you apprised if you're there. Follow us on Twitter if you're not at the representative assembly, and be ready for action, to make a phone call, to fire off an email or a text to your legislator. We'll be following things closely over the weekend, and when Marcus puts out an alert, respond.
Okay, well, thank you very much.